Hi. Hi to our friends on Facebook. Hello again to our friends on Instagram. Tanj here. Salamat pagi, all the way from Bali. I'm here at the W in Seminyak. Arrived in Bali last night. It's 6 o'clock a.m. here, so I believe it's 8 o'clock there in Melbourne and Sydney. And I am really rapt to be here for Mindset Mastery Monday this morning. Good morning, Vikram. Lovely to have your company. Today we're going to be talking about, are you hardwired for problems? And therefore, is that what's manifesting in your life? Or are you hardwired for progress? Hello, Vikram. Something that I'm super, super passionate about. Morning, Chris. Lovely to have your company. Salamat pagi, all the way live from the W in Seminyak in Bali. Just give me a thumbs up if you've been to the W in Seminyak in Bali. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. I'm here because I'm a keynote speaker for the Greg Hocking Leadership Conference today, and be talking for about 4 hours today, unpacking the 3 steps to leadership success, the 5 steps for leading confidently. Morning, Jess. Lovely to have your company too. So thanks. Big shout out to the team at Greg Hocking for bringing me out here. Morning, Lloyd. So anyone that knows me knows I'm super passionate about the relationship between our thoughts, words, actions, and results. I am an NLP practitioner, master practitioner, and trainer. I love studying the relationship with the brain. By the way, NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's just a fancy term that sort of describes how do our thoughts influence our actions, therefore influence the results that we produce in our lives, something that I absolutely love. So today I want to give you access to really thinking your goals to reality. And I know that sounds a little bit woo-woo if you're not kind of really into it as much as I am. But, you know, here's the thing that neuroscientists know. The brain does not understand the difference. It doesn't know the difference between our thoughts and our external reality. If we're thinking about things and feeling stressed, our body is reacting as if it's actually happening. So this it's just such a mind-blowing concept. So today is really inspired by a book that I'm studying at the moment. If you love to read, if you love listening to audiobooks, which is what I do, thanks to audible.com, and you want to gain access to how to really elevate the quality of your thinking and program your brain to be hardwired for progress, I highly recommend a book called Breaking the Habit of Being You. It's Breaking the Habit of Being You, How to Lose Your Mind and Get a New One. It's by best-selling author Dr. JoeDispenza. He was a guest speaker on The Secret. He was also a guest speaker on What the Bleep Do We Know. He's all into quantum physics. He's a neuro specialist, a chiropractor, and basically his brief story was after riding a bike and getting hit on with a car and breaking 7 vertebrae and told he would never ever walk again. He used the power of his mind to fully heal his spine. In the book, he breaks it down into exactly how he did that. And he walked again in 9.5 weeks, and in 10 weeks, he was back to treating clients. Now he travels the world teaching people how to lose their mind and get a new one, and really hardwire their brain for progress. His whole philosophy and his whole message in the book, Breaking the Habit of Being You, is most of us wait for some big trauma or, struggle or upset to get perspective and really start living our life. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you've done this yourself. So it's either a sickness or a sadness or, a big loss of some sort, and we get perspective. And speaking of getting perspective, I feel so blessed to be here in Bali because we were meant to be in Hong Kong. And Hong Kong, if you haven't heard, is experiencing a super typhoon. It's been on its way to the city where literally 10 million people and now 43 million people are bracing themselves. If you have a look at some of the CNN footage, it's pretty horrific. I think there are about 59 deaths currently reported, and it's still going crazy. So just want to start by acknowledging all the people in the Philippines right now, all of their community and family and friends, and all of the emergency service teams that are ready to pick up the debris, literally. So feel extremely blessed that here I am in luxury in Seminyak in Bali, whilst there's devastation happening in Hong Kong and many other places. So why do we wait for some kind of trauma or tragedy to get some perspective and start living a life we love? Why can't we just go and carve a life we love out of sheer joy and inspiration? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. This message is going to be great for anyone that really wants to master their mindset, create everything that they desire, both personally and professionally. So consider that your habits create your habitat. So what you repeatedly do every single day, every single thought, and I think we have about 60,000 of them a day, everything that you're thinking creates the habitat that you live in. And as I said before, our brain doesn't know the difference between what we're thinking about and what we're experiencing in reality. So let me ask you, if that's the case, what's the quality of your thoughts? What's the quality of your reality? Are you thinking about the problems in your life? Are you anxious about the future that hasn't happened yet? Or are you worried about the past that has happened? Good morning, Jim. Salamat pagi, live from Bali. So what we think about comes about, and our personality creates our reality. Nice big quotes, but what does that actually mean? So one of the things that Dr. JoeDispenza uncovers in his book is that by the age of 35, our subconscious brain, which governs about 95% of what we do, is full of our opinions, judgments, assessments of ourselves, others, and the world. And it will be hardwired for positivity and progress, or it will be hardwired for suffering and struggle and problems. Good morning, Hallie. So if you're 35 or over and watching this, your brain is hardwired for how your life is going to go. So how is it going? Well, just take a look at your life. How is your health? How are your relationships? How is your wealth? How is your business? How is your leadership, your self-love, your confidence, your parenting, your partnering? However your external reality is, however intimate and deep and juicy and vibrant your relationships are, however your body looks, is a direct result of the thoughts that you are thinking day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute. So I would love to share with you what I'm learning about how we can change our thoughts from problems to progress and literally hardwire our brain, the neurological pathways in our brain, to be hardwired for success and not struggle. So give me a thumbs up if that is a topic that's of interest to you. Good morning, Jimmy. I've mentioned in a previous Mindset Mastery Monday session that our mind can be either fixed or hardwired for growth. If it's fixed, it's very closed. We believe in our opinions. We're not really open to new realities. Therefore, we don't see outside the box we mentally live in. If it's hardwired for growth, you don't relate like you know everything. You're a student of life. You're willing to learn, and you see opportunities everywhere. So according to Dr. JoeDispenza, there are 4 key steps that we can do and we can practice, and key word is practice, consistently to really shift the neurological pathways in our brain, the physical neurological pathways, which are protein pathways that fire our brain to act and react in certain ways, shift it from problems and struggle to joy and progress. So grab a pen and paper. I'm going to unpack briefly these 4 steps. Number 1, we need to be open to learning new things. If you have a fixed mindset, if your views are very fixed and that's just the way it is based on your experiences in the past, you will not create any new pathways in your brain. Your brain will just wire and fire exactly how it has for the many years that you've been alive. So you need to open your mind. They say a mind works best like when it's open like a parachute. Open your mind and consider new perspectives, new thinking. From a neuro-linguistic programming perspective, one of the greatest things to do is model a master. If there's somebody that is achieving the kind of goals that you want to achieve for yourself, find out what are they thinking about? What do they do every day? Good morning, Daniel. How are you? And good morning, Karen George. What do they do every day? And then replicate what they do. So number one, be open to learning new things. I was at a conference recently and one of the speakers said a great question that really provoked my thinking. When was the last time you were scared? Not scared for your life, but feeling scared or fearful because you had a big game on. You had something new that you were doing. You were in a growth phase. So if you're not feeling scared in any area of your life, perhaps you're not playing a big enough life. Good morning, Nat. Lovely to have your company. So number one is learn new things. What is something that you've been thinking about learning or you're intrigued about and it's been a should, not a must? You haven't taken any action to mastering a craft, learning a new skill, or honing new characteristics and replicating masters so you too can produce their results. Good morning. Okay, so number two is receive hands-on instruction. What does that mean? Get your body into action to practice these new things. It's very kinesthetic. Remember I said before, the brain doesn't know the difference between your internal thoughts and your external reality. An example of this is there's been many, many studies around the world to, one in fact I know Deepak Chopra did with a team of neuroscientists. They sat athletes in a room and put on measuring transmitters, neurotransmitter measurement tools, so little pads all over the brain. And these athletes needed to sit in this dark room and imagine running a 100-meter race or a 300-meter race. And they had to imagine it in great detail. The stadium, the sound of the people getting their feet into position, their body, their breath, the feel of the gravel on their hands as they were getting their feet into position. Good morning, Simon. Lovely to see you, or at least see your name. And then the sound of the gun firing off, and then literally what actions they needed to take to do that 100-meter sprint. And the neurotransmitters were measuring the brain activity. And what it discovered was the parts of the brain that fire up to send signals to the muscles to physically move, hey, were firing, and the muscles were reacting as if it's happening. I don't know about you, but I just find that fascinating. So just imagine every day, whether you're listening to this driving to work, it's 6 o'clock here in Bali, it's 8 o'clock there in Melbourne and Sydney, like whatever you've been thinking about this morning, your brain thinks it's true. So have you been thinking fearful thoughts? Have you been thinking worried thoughts? I love Bali too, Chris. Have you been thinking thoughts about the past that you can't influence now? It's happened. Have you been thinking about thoughts of struggle and suffering and concern about the future that hasn't happened yet? I invite you to be aware, bring your awareness to the quality of your thoughts, because what we think about comes about. The brain does not know the difference between our internal reality and external reality. So get the body doing these new practices that you learnt in step one, and kinesthetically you'll build up a muscle memory. An example of this is, have you ever forgotten a password or a PIN number for your bank account or your computer, but your fingers knew what to do? It happened to me last night, was early this morning, 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock this morning in Bali. I've had only a couple of hours sleep. I was tired, right, because I'd been up and for hours and traveling, and my brain could not cognitively think of a password for something, yet my fingers knew what to do. This absolutely demonstrates that your body becomes your thoughts. When you have repeated thoughts over and over, it builds neurological pathways in your brain, which builds kinesthetic memories in your body, and our body knows when our brain and our mind forgets. I too find that fascinating. Number 3 is pay attention, as I was saying before. Pay attention to the quality of your thoughts, because your brain is believing exactly and everything that you're thinking about. Are you thinking about problems and therefore hardwiring your brain to just focus on problems? Or are you thinking about progress? Are you thinking about what you can do physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to really achieve the results that you want for yourself in your life? And all I ask is that from this video or message or podcast, whatever forum you're listening to this in, is that you become the eagle. The eagle is the only bird in the feathered kingdom that intuitively senses a storm coming, and it flies above the clouds, just hangs out there whilst all the other birds are freaking out and ducking for cover. And then when the storm clears, the eagle goes back through the clouds and goes directly for its prey. It doesn't hang out in the storm. Let that be a metaphor for our mind. Think about progress, not about problems. Your brain is receiving messages from you every single nanosecond. And then number 4 is repeat over and over. You've got to have awareness of your thinking. You need to then shift from problems to progress and ask yourself, what can I do physically? What can I think mentally? How can I shift my emotions? And what can I do spiritually to really hardwire myself for progress, not problems? And the best thing I can suggest mentally is meditate. Meditation is the ability to just disconnect from our automatic thinking. Thanks, Simon. It's a great idea. It is a great idea. How do you know, let me ask you, how do you know if you're hardwired for problems or progress? How would you know? Maybe just write in, how do you believe you would know? Little tip, you'll know by how you feel. If you feel crap, your mind is focused on the areas that you don't want to put your focus on. If you're feeling good, you might feel fearful and good. You might feel challenged and good, but you're typically hardwired for progress. You know, we've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Comfort is the kiss of death for human growth and potential, because, as according to Tony Robbins, the key to happiness is progress. But for us to progress, we've got to let go of the limited thinking of our past or the concerns and worries of our future. So how do we hardwire our brain for progress? How do we lose our mind and build a new one? And how do we break the habit of being us, according to Dr. JoeDispenza? Number 1, learn new things, get into action. Oh, Karen's writing, Karen, I choose today to be an eagle. Love that metaphor. Absolutely. Be the eagle. Rise above the problems. Don't hang out in them. Get a higher awareness. Let the mind clear. Let the sky clear. Get back focused on your prey and go directly for it. But we got to have awareness to do that. So be the eagle. Great, Karen. I invite you to do that. Post a picture of an eagle in your profile picture today, just as a reminder. We need these reminders at times. Okay. So learn new things. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Do the things that you've been thinking about. Turn your shoulds into musts. Again, another thing that Tony Robbins shares a lot. We often think about what we should do. I should get up when that alarm goes off instead of pressing snooze. I should eat clean. I should exercise. I should prospect for 2 hours of power every day. I should ring my mum. I should complete that, challenging conversation. I shouldn't drink that second glass or bottle of wine. And when we should and should and should and should, as he says, we should all over ourselves, meaning we are sending messages to our subconscious brain of what we should do. And when we don't take action, we confirm that we are disempowered and we don't have the power to change our reality. If you want to produce different results in your life, here's what I know for sure. We must turn our shoulds into musts. So number 1, we must learn new things. We must get comfortable with being uncomfortable. What is something you've been thinking about doing newly that you've been thinking about and you should do it? What one physical action can you take today to make that a reality? Number 2, receive hands-on instruction. Get the body involved, because the brain doesn't know the difference between your internal reality and your external reality. So do the work that it takes to have the results that you want, and think for progress, not for problems. Number 3, be the eagle, as Karen said. Pay attention to what you're thinking, because you are manifesting your reality. Your habit creates your habitat. Good morning, Jess. Number 4, repeat this over and over and over. The reason they say 21-day meditation, or it takes 21 days to build a new habit, is because it literally takes 21 days to build new protein pathways, neurological pathways in our brain that wire and fire for a different result. That's what that actually means. So it's not a fancy number on a calendar. It is, if you think about the same thing every day for 21 days, if you meditate, exercise, or what I highly recommend, practice savers, which is a miracle morning ritual based on an amazing book called The Miracle Morning, written by Hal Elrod, who says the best way to start your day, and I'm a testament to this, I 100% start my day every day like this, savers. S is for silence, meditation. Detach from thought, become the eagle, and let go of your thinking so you can just become pure consciousness. A is for affirmation. Affirm who you are. I am are the 2 most important words you will ever say to yourself, and what follows is critical. Are you creating a reality that's built on progress or the problems? Are you saying, I'm fat, I'm unsuccessful, I'm broke, I'm not good enough, or I'm a perfectly imperfect, consistent work in progress, I'm learning about how to manage my money, I'm an inspiration, I'm courageous, I'm bold, I'm brave, I'm love. Whatever you think about and speak about comes about. V is for visualize. Remember the example of the athletes that had neurotransmitter measurement tools on their head, and all they thought about was doing that 100-meter sprint, and their brain and body thought it was actually happening. So imagine, as you're going about your day, everything you're thinking is creating who you are. Let's start thinking way bigger. Let's start thinking way more positive, and let's start thinking more miraculous things for ourselves, for others, and the world. There's amazing studies that show that when monks are meditating, that meditation and that energy has ripple effects on the villages that they're meditating in. It's all energy. E is for exercise. The best way to shift your state from problems to progress is to exercise, because you oxygenate the body, you release dopamine and serotonin, which are the good feel-good hormones, and music is a great way to break state, become the eagle, detach from negative thought. So if you're listening to this and you've been a funk already this morning, play a great song. One of my favorites is Heart's Barracuda. What's your favorite song, actually? I would love to know. What's a song that puts you in peak state before you're going to do a listing, before you're going to go speak at an event, or just before you do the washing? Whatever it is, I'd love to know. Share them, because I'm always looking for great tunes. And then reading is the R part of savers, or listening to podcasts. And as I said, the book I'm recommending this week is Breaking the Habit of Being You, How to Lose Your Mind and Get a New One by Dr. JoeDispenza. Unbelievable book to study, with great tips and insights in there on how to hardwire your brain for success and not struggle. And then finally, in savers is S, scribing, having an attitude of gratitude. This is the fundamental frequency that will elevate your state. Try to be happy and angry and grateful at the same time. Try it when we finish this Mindset Mastery Monday and see how you go. You'll find it's impossible. So I hope you found that useful. 4 ways to hardwire your brain for progress, not problems. Remember, what you think about and speak about comes about. Practice being the eagle, and be mindful of your thoughts. Model a master. If there's someone living a life that you love, model what they do, replicate what they do, but remain uniquely you. I hope that was beneficial for you. If it was, let me know. If you have a question around how you can master your mindset and practice peak performance practices to really create and cultivate a life that you love, feel free to message me or DM me. I'd love to be of service. And if I don't know an answer and I can't provide an A to your Q, I'll find out. I'll do some research, and together we'll learn and evolve. So have a beautiful day. Salamat malam. That's I'm going to bed. Salamat pagi. That's good morning from Bali. Much love. And will you join me in just sending, speaking of thoughts, creating a reality, some loving thoughts to all the people in the Philippines and in the States and actually all around the world that are having challenges in their life today, whether it be Mother Nature or the problems in here. I wish you love. I wish you all success, and I wish you an amazing week. Take care, and I'll see you next Monday for Mindset Mastery Monday. Bye to our friends on Insta, and au revoir to our friends on Facebook.